Hey, how are you?
Hi,
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
good.
I'm so freaking excited to have you get on tonight. How are you doing? Oh my gosh, are you so excited to be a guest on our show, our little show? The open
I'm
mic. I'm
excited.
so sorry. The open mic is going to be in 1 hour at 10 o'clock. So if you're able to come back in and stick around, of course, because we're going to be talking to this amazing poet, musician, artist, amazing stuff. So I'm not sure where Andy is, but we don't need Andy to get started. So let's just start with it. Like, how did you, did you start with poetry? Did you start with art? What did you start with?
Um, I don't know where to start with that question. When I was when I was 4 days old, my mom took me to the library. So
Mm-hmm.
she was reading to me from day one. So I was like 3 years old where I started to teach myself to read.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think my parents gave me an xylophone. So I was like 3 or 4. I went away for an hour and I came back knowing all the nurses, playing all the nurses on the. And then so it was like it probably started when I was 4, writing songs and poetry and art. I think it all just started at the same time. But they weren't I didn't take it seriously until like my early 20s, which was probably like 2013 or 16 or something.
So 2014, 2016, that's kind of when the whole electric armchair thing bursted, or have you, when were you electric armchair? When did electric
That
armchair
would have
show
been
up?
September 6th, 2016. I decided to be electric armchair. It was because I wrote like about 10 poems a year and I wanted to write more and I wanted to improve better. So I heard that people were doing like daily challenges, like they'll write a poem a day. And I tried for 3 times that year and I just couldn't get the hang of
Right.
it. But in September, I got the hang of it, mostly because I lied through my teeth. Like I used old poems and I would
Mm-hmm.
say that they're new
No.
poems until I was actually able to write something a day. And I think I've been keeping it up since then. But like I've kind of strayed away from poetry because it took a lot of my time and I wanted to make bigger projects. So I'll use that poetry to funnel into like music or books or something instead now.
So, for people who might not be familiar with you, this incredible guest of ours, she's not from the United States. She's actually from Canada. And she's not just a poet, as you just said. She does bigger projects. Now, I know we're going to get into the whole music thing, but you just recently debuted some animated stuff, or there was an animated film festival recently with you?
Uh, it wasn't an animated film festival.
Oh,
Mine
okay.
was the only animated piece, which I
Oh,
thought was
that's right.
cool. I submitted my film to my city because they were doing a National Canadian Film Day thing, and they were going to pick 10 films out of all the submissions. Yesterday, we found there were like 42 submissions, and there were 11 that were selected.
Oh,
So that's
wow. That's pretty incredible. I mean, that must have felt really good. I know that we talked before about we both feel insecure about our own talents, but 11 out of that many, that's pretty spectacular.
yeah, put a lot of things into perspective because so we walked into this theater, right? We were the first ones there. I sat right in the middle. Um, and there was this big formal intro, and then they showed all the names on the screen, and it was an intermission. My film was at the very end, so there's all these like applauses after each film, and then my film comes on, everyone goes silent because it's like, oh, this one's animated.
Uh-huh.
And it was really cool to like you're in the theater and you're hearing everyone, and this isn't the kind of theater you want people to shut up in. You want to hear their opinions
Mm-hmm.
and like laughing at the film, and they clap and they're like, oh, it was cute and stuff. And it was only a minute long though, but it was really cool. And then they got
So
us
they
on
really take
stage.
it in.
They got
They
us
were,
on stage after, so I had a mic and we were answering questions from the audience. So that was cool as well.
what was like the greatest question you got from there? Did you get really interesting questions from that panel?
So there were, out of the 11 films, I think there were 13 filmmakers that went up on stage, and there were like generic, like 3 questions asked from the audience for everyone to answer. Not everyone answered.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think the questions were like, what were you inspired by? I couldn't think of anything. There was some Smashing Pumpkins songs playing when everyone was walking in, so I just grabbed the mic and I'm like, oh, Smashing Pumpkins. I'm like,
It works.
yeah. And then we're like, what were you inspired by? they asked, yeah, there were just two other questions. I don't really remember because everything was so surreal.
Oh, I imagine it. Because was that the first time you've ever done a film festival?
Yeah, I've never been to a concert or seen live music or been to a film festival or anything. I've never put myself like I've performed at theaters in schools, but I've never done any of this on my own. So it's like still like a first for me. But
Oh,
it's
wow.
definitely something I want to do it. I want to do again. Yeah, it's really nice.
All right,
It's really
Andy.
weird.
I know you
Yeah,
want
no,
to
no,
say
I'm
hi
just
to our guests.
yeah.
Welcome, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
So, Andy, I don't know if you know this or not, and I'm sure a lot of our audience members don't know, but I actually have been a very amazing fan and a correspondent, so to speak, with our guest April tonight since back like in 2019, I think. We first connected with some of those. I think again with those
Yeah,
prompts.
not born in April.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think we got together because of those poetry challenges
Mhm.
that were around.
And then you were right off the bat already like music bound, and we're gonna get into that. But so Andy, this is like such a great honor. I feel like we're all like three friends hanging out on a Friday night, getting ready for an open mic coming up
Word.
right after. We got some music performance from April coming down here. But Andy, I just want to give you an opportunity to say hi and welcome. And if there was anything you already had prepared that you wanted to ask April, because she just
No, no.
did a
Well,
film
I
festival,
mean,
for God's sakes. Her first
yeah, I know, right?
never
Like,
been to a concert, never been anywhere, and she's in the film festival. That's the kind of guest we get, Andy. That's the kind of guest we get.
yeah, no, that's what's up. I think that's awesome that you were able to do that. So I don't know if this question was already asked before I jumped in, but how did you come up with Electric Armchair? Like, how'd you come up with the name?
Ah, um, so it was originally my Microsoft game account name. I don't know if that's around.
Ah,
Probably doesn't have anything on it, but that was my video game account. But I got it because Andy Warhol has this electric chair thing. So it's like, his art print,
mm,
pop art, and it's just the electric chair. And at the time, I thought my stuff wasn't normal, and I was trying to be a bit edgy. I was like just getting out of my 20s, and I thought the electric chair was a bit too. It screamed insanity, but like I also was reading Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep at the time. So I typed in electric sheep and they're like, that one's taken. So I'm sitting in an armchair, so I'm like electric armchair, and that worked. And I wanted something that wasn't
that's
inherently
awesome.
feminine or masculine. For the first year, I like totally obscured my identity. You didn't know if I was man or female. Most guys just said, hey, dude, and stuff until I revealed. But yeah, I think that's
Okay.
the gist of it.
No, that's cool. So describe to us your style of music. Like, what's the process of that, and what not what's inspiration, but what explain to us what that genre is of the music that you do.
I don't know if I've quite figured that out yet. I hear a lot of people define my work as shoegaze, but I don't really connect with that ambient wall of noise. I listen to a lot of Queens of the Stone Age, but they just do a lot of Stonewall,
Mm,
and my voice is a little too like I'm not grungy. It doesn't come off that way. Um,
mm,
Also, like, I know a lot of people don't like their own voice, so if you were to like record your voice and you put effects on it, it sounds a bit different to you, and it's something that you could work with. So I've also been like I'll argue if a song should be played with electric guitar or piano, and I've just decided to incorporate all of that. But I think like what electric armchair stands for with music, in 2020, I realized that I wrote my 100th song and I had a bit of a meltdown because I hadn't shared any of them at all. And so I made this thing where I'm gonna write down every single fault that I think that I have, and that's going to be what I do with music. So like if I was like super corny with the lyrics, that's what I'm gonna be from now on. And I do this weird thing where I just kind of like wail with the music, Queens of the Stone Age or Tom York does from Radiohead. I was like, oh, I guess I'll just do that
okay.
from now on. Or I like doing things really fast. Sure, let's go with it. And I wrote down every single insecurity I had, and I went with it.
Okay. Um, 'Cause I noticed I was watching your videos on YouTube and stuff like that. I noticed you have an interesting way of doing your music videos. Walk me through the music video process of that.
Okay. I think it was 2020 when I was working on trying to make my art move, make like little GIFs and stuff. And I don't really know how it happened. Because I've always been working on like little flip books and 2D animation, and I kept trying CGI and stuff, and it didn't work. Um, there's something called chroma key and keyframing. Like chroma key means that you could like take the color green and take it out of every photo, and that's why people have a green screen behind them. I don't have a green screen, so a lot of my videos just trying to make up for the indie quality of like not having a good camera.
Okay.
Like if I need a spaceship, I could draw it or I could sculpt it out of 3D animation, but not the whole video has to be like that or I'd never get it finished.
Mm,
It's
mm.
like a jump
Okay. Okay.
like multimedia.
Now, and how long does it take to do, let's say, one video, let's say, like how long would that take?
Probably 2 days. But
Okay.
sometimes I don't usually go with an idea. Sometimes I have my husband, Alan W. McLean, giving him a shout out at Haiku Prajna. He's a writer, but he storyboards some of my stuff when I have trouble. Um, in one video, there's probably about 200 videos that go into it.
Okay. Okay.
What about the
So,
most?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
I will
posted one.
yeah.
You just posted
Sorry?
a. I'm sorry. I just everybody. You just posted a video just a couple of days, like a music video. Was it
Yeah.
today or yesterday?
I could
What
walk
was
you
that
through
theme?
that
That's
process.
exactly what I would love for you to do. That's
Okay.
exactly why
So
I messed up my words, but you got it.
I have a long-winded way of speaking, so forgive me. So
No, hey,
that
it's
song,
your play. It's your time to shine.
so that song was called Goblin. It's the intro song to my seventh album, After Party. Um, I wrote down a storyline where goblins are supposed to be these ugly little thief shape-shifting creatures, and I'm like, well, you guys don't know that. He's pretty cute. He could be cute. Originally, he wasn't supposed to be. He was very scary. He went through 8 renditions until he looked like some Pokemon character because it was the simplest to replicate throughout the whole video. Um, I wrote down the storyline. I storyboarded it with simple shapes, and then I figured out how many like characters I needed to build, like a tree. I needed to draw some trees. I made 8 of them, and then I doubled that to make a forest. I needed to draw a path, and I needed to draw a goblin that could move in 3 different ways. It has a present that's like, okay, so you can draw a character, and then you can um, make everything in solitude. Words. I don't know. Like you could draw the goblin's face separately than his present, and and his feet afterwards. You could draw them separately, and then you make his foot move or his arm or something. I can't hear you right now.
You're muted.
Sorry, it's back from when I taught during COVID. I always muted myself and I always forgot when. But I'm saying it's like illustrate like the animator panels, like the layers.
I knew exactly what you were saying from your hand
Yeah,
gestures.
we're playing charades. You got it because you explained it completely well. Like yeah, so either you can. I got it. Wow, that's so cool. Like so, that's what you were saying with the concept with the goblin. So continue before
And
the
then
whole charade.
you construct every scene individually, and then you can stitch all the scenes together afterwards. And I think that's the whole video.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
you have like a week or 2 weeks or a month or a year to just construct the song, right? It probably takes like it could take a day to construct the initial idea of a song, but it could take a year to try to put it into a form that you want people to listen to over and over again.
So I remember when you joined the open mic, you did say that you had a process of how the song. You said it was a poem and then it becomes a song. But I guess my question is like when you create the actual music, it starts off as like from one instrument and then you combine the instruments later? Like how does that work?
It really depends. Like if I wanted to create a song that sounded like Nine Inch Nails, I could start from the drums, and right away I could put vocals on it if I were to like hear some words or something, or if I feel something out. If not, I just keep putting instruments on until something's apparent. If it's not, it'll sit in my folders for like a year until I come up with vocals or release it instrumentally. A lot of the time on transit
Okay,
buses, I'll come up with a song and I'll come up with lyrics without instrumentals. So it can be done, the process could be done in reverse. And then also,
okay.
if I'm not home and I've constructed a whole song, I can reuse vocals and snip them up like samples or play them backwards or something to create a new piece. And that's where like the really weird abstract things come from, just because I'm bored.
Got you, got you. Okay, that makes sense. Will we hear some music tonight? I guess is my next question.
I didn't plan anything, but I could sing something.
It sounds good.
I think it's great.
When when should that be? Like now?
Whenever, I guess. I mean, that's I guess that's kind of my fault too, because I think I should have hit you up beforehand, but that's my fault though. I'm sorry.
No,
April, not born in April, of course.
if you would have hit me up beforehand, I could have gotten a synth or guitar ready, but I could always bring up vocals. I got like a new song called Pleasure Pain.
Ooh, that sounds like
I
a
just
one we would all like to hear.
lets me get the lyrics up because lyrics.
So again, anybody that's just joining us, we're talking with April at Electric Armchair, and she is just a multifaceted Renaissance human. She writes, which turns into songs, which turns into music videos, which turns into animations, turns into books, and she did an animation. It was in a film
I'll be
festival.
back in 1 second.
She's incredible. Andy, I don't know. I mean, it's so incredible all the things that April can do. I just don't think I'm able to do all of that. And she just
No, man, I can't. No, I know I couldn't be able to. It's not, I mean, people it looks like it's easy to create music, but it really is not easy to create music. I remember when we had Brandon White, he talked about the processes of creating music. Everybody has a different process, but at the end of the day, it's not an easy one, if that makes sense, because coming up with a song, coming up with a riff, coming up with something that syncs together and all that stuff, and then I noticed the one thing that a lot of musicians have in common, I noticed, is how do we maintain the human element behind the music, if that makes sense, right? Because even though we use, like what April was saying about using certain elements, into creating her beats and stuff like that, but there's still that human element. And I think that that's the main thing there, that you still maintain the human element behind the music. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just rambling on. I'm sorry.
no,
If I
yeah,
sound
this
like
is
crap,
great.
I apologize, guys. I've just been a little bit under the weather these last couple of days, so if my voice sounds weird, I apologize.
Let me just say that when I started Electric Armchair in 2016, I had this little disclosure that said I may be sharing original songs, but probably just covers. And then I bought a recording studio just for poetry readings. I didn't
Mm.
expect to be used, like that's what I use now for music, but it was only for poetry readings. And then like for years, I would play with an unplugged guitar because I wasn't confident enough. And I think in my third year of guitar, people were asking me if I had been playing for 6 years, and that's when I decided to take it a little more seriously, because I didn't think that, like, I thought it was an unattainable thing, like I could never do that or something. It's just kind of a mindset you have to get into.
Walk me through that mindset though. Like, was it, I don't want to ask if it was easy, rather, what was the process getting into the mindset that you're in now? Like, was it a difficult one? Yes, no. If so, what was the process behind that difficulty to get to where it is today?
I've probably always been trying to get there because I've always, like, performed in theaters, singing and stuff. I've just never performed instruments. I was always given the solo because, like, I was an alto, so I had a low voice, but then I sang higher than the sopranos, or I could reach like the Elton John notes or something, so they'd give me a solo because I wasn't a soprano.
Happened
But
to
I
me
think
too, April. Like, I was one year alto, 1 year soprano. Which one is it? You know, I feel like you.
I think it's because I tried out with the wrong song. I would sing Avril Lavigne, and they'd be like, "Okay, you're an alto." I think honestly it was in 2020 when I wrote down all of my thoughts, all of my faults, and I just decided to own it.
I love it.
Okay.
You are very multifaceted, multi-ranged. I'll use my thesaurus to come up with even better words to just talk about how talented you are. So we're about to hear it right now, everybody.
Oh yeah,
Pleasure Pain
yeah.
is the name.
I have the instrumentals with the vocals cut off, so it's like karaoke.
Perfect.
I don't know how
There we go.
it might sound like it'll sound deeper if you listened to the actual song, because this song's coming out of my shitty laptop speakers. So
It's okay. I talked for like 20 minutes on mute. we're good. It's all right.
can you hear that?
Yeah.
There's a pleasure in feeling some pain. Gotta get wet if you want to feel the rain. Some comfort in knowing you're alive again. Sometimes I want to run up a hurricane. There's a pleasure in feeling some pain. I'm not the same me as yesterday, but I am still me more than ever was. I do me just as I can, because who's gonna be me better than me? I try so hard, but I still can't please. Well, you'll never get far if you base your success on popular opinion and expressions of distress. Ooh, grace occupied. Ooh, I love your time with things that shine keeps you alive. This is like a remix part, but I removed some of the remix part, so it's just empty. Life is a stage, go break a leg. No pain, no gain. If you crave the gain, go find your own plate, claim a piece of the cake, make your own damn lake and ride the waves. I'd rather dig my own grave than live a life that I didn't make. When they raise the stakes, I'll light the way, make a torchlight ray on the path I paved. Life is a stage, go break a leg. No pain, no gain. If you crave the gain, go find your own plate, claim a piece of the cake, make your own damn lake, and ride the waves. I'd rather dig my own grave than live a life that I didn't make. When they raise the stakes, I'll light the way, make a torchlight ray on the path I paved. So the rest of the song is just a remix, so that's like the gist of it.
That's incredible.
That
oh my
is,
gosh.
yeah.
And again, to come in cold like that, I know you were playing around with some stuff potentially, but like to come in cold like that and just kill it. Oh my God, April, thank you so much for just starting it off right this last Friday in April. This last Friday in April.
Yes.
Burning it down.
Not born in April.
Burning it down tonight. We're getting some real good feedback in the chat about how great it was too. Again, you're like, everybody's nervous, like, oh, I'm playing for my speaker. I wasn't ready, but you just killed it. I loved it. You did speak briefly on that pleasure pain, but can you talk more about that piece specifically? Where is it going to go from here, or what are you going to do with this?
So my husband and I filmed the music video for Pleasure Pain in Toronto. It used to be this water park, and then we went there and there was absolutely nothing there. It was just a big field. But I do hope to play this song live. I don't know if I'll go on, like I could construct this song from the start. Like if I knew this was, if I knew I was going to be playing it, I would have put down the drum beat on the synth. I have a synth thing. Put down the drum beat, and then you do this, all the synth layers, and you can have them playing at the same time, and then I would perform the vocals. But if I chickened out, I have the karaoke version that I could do, to like how I did to you guys. But hold on a second, because I'm not gonna say what the song is. Yeah, I have it written down.
Don't you love this guest, Andy? I love it. Like, we're getting so
Yeah.
many incredible
You know what's
pieces.
funny? I'm always gonna refer to her as April, not born in April. In the last week of April. Like, that's always gonna be the thing now. That should be a shirt. That's like shirt ideas right there.
I thought it was in this book, but it's not. So I just have a book here, but it's not in the book. So my bad. Pleasure Pain is about so a lot of people, like, they tell me that they want to get to the point where, like, they could play instruments or they could perform, and I tell other people that I want to perform, who I see perform, and they say, like, well, obviously you're never going to know until you try.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I guess there's some pleasure in feeling some pain then. And I was just trying to work that little line out like an essay, like I just tried to keep building upon it.
Oh my gosh.
Mm,
Wow.
okay.
What I just love that concept of the pleasure pain. Again, it hurts to change. It hurts to try because it's scary. It hurts
Yeah,
to
change is hard. Yeah, change is not easy, but yeah, sometimes I feel like depending on the situation, it can hurt to change,
Because of
if
that,
that makes
but it makes
sense. I'm glad you said that.
it makes it more gratifying though, right? So there's
Yeah.
the pleasure part of it. And then there's also like something, like I don't feel a lot of pain. I've been in the hospital for appendicitis when I was like in grade 5, and I was there for a month, and they didn't know what was wrong because I didn't feel any pain. I've broken my leg and I walked home on it. I don't really feel any of that. So that's also
Wow.
has to do with the song.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Could you speak on
Okay.
that a little bit?
When I do feel pain, I hold on to it. I'm like, this is a feeling. And I'm like, I can
Wow.
write about this. And it's like, this is good. So that's,
So you use that as an inspiration, is what you're saying. Wow. I never saw it from that perspective before. That's
Can
interesting.
we talk about that though? Like, how young were you when you realized that maybe this is something that's not a sensation I feel like traditionally?
I
Or
don't know. I think I just have a lot of willpower. I don't pay attention to certain things. I just push through. I've just kind of always been that way.
mm-hmm. I feel like that. I know that I feel like I have a very high pain threshold, but I definitely haven't walked home on a broken leg feeling that level of intense pain. But I've had 2 children, and one was pretty quick, where there was almost no epidural. I pretty much felt that. But again, I didn't scream out in pain or anything like that. So wow, like your ability to focus on something else and not feel it, that's pretty incredible. And I know Andy brought that up as an inspiration for you too, some of your writing.
Yeah, well, whenever I've been to the hospital and stuff, they've always had a hard time figuring out what was wrong because I don't feel those symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have, like, they'll be like, your skin is so baby soft, we can't actually sew through it. We're just gonna tape you up. And so that's fun too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
That is, wow. That's freaking awesome. That is awesome. I had a question and I forgot. I hate when it happens. I'm so sorry.
You'll remember when we're not around.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, the more I think about it, the more it's not gonna come back to me.
April,
Angela,
before you
quick.
go on. Yeah, no, I got you. April, not now, but while we're talking, think of if there's any other pieces that you can perform on the drop of a dime, that you have another, like, maybe track. You don't have to do it this second because I have a question for you. I want to shift gears just a little bit because you held up this book. I don't know if people out there know the talent that we have, just your artistry in general and your creative mind. So I really would love for you to talk about your actual illustrations, your thought processes, and then also another. Can we talk about another one of your amazing pieces? Because your levels of intricacy, like last week, I was blown away by your first piece about the virus in the jar and the android or the person in the factory falling for each other. Like, I want to hear another one of those crazy awesome pieces. So I got two things I asked you: illustrations, and then tell me another one of your amazing complex worlds that you have created.
Okay. So I made this book. It's not out yet because I have to increase the margins by 0.0125 millimeters. It's stupid.
Oh gosh.
But
0.0.
it's so dumb. But I was supposed to follow a template, and I didn't follow a template, so I was almost there. It's 108 pages. I'm working on like better books because this one's full of a lot of digital art that I did kind of quickly for the book, because all of the other art that I have this vision for, so I want to take a bit more time on it.
Oh, good.
But there's the goblin right there.
Yeah, so every one of these pieces, there seems to be an illustrative connected component for us, so the people who are watching can get that sense too. It's pretty incredible. Again, I've been a fan for such a long time. And look, Andy, you got to see all these crazy, amazing, like, look at this incredible artistry. It's very
is illustrated. There's traditional illustrations, but then there's digital illustrations, just so it doesn't take away from the lyric book. Doing it the second time, I would make the font a lot smaller. This is something that somebody with big that needs big font can read very easily.
Oh, that's cool.
There's also like photos from like behind the scenes. So like whatever park we decided to film the music video at, we have all the photos in here. We went to Niagara Falls to film one of the video. We didn't go there to film the video. We went there for my birthday, but we ended up filming a video the entire time we were there. We had this like storyline to complete and everything. And that's just how we treat trips now. We have this video that we're going to shoot, and it may be cringy, like we have our phone, but like it's like we can review it later on. We could retake the trip, you know?
That's, oh my gosh, way to make a memory twofold. You get to keep it with your personal behind the scenes, like you say, and then you also have the finished product to also bring those memories back.
It also
And I was actually, no, but like the book, how long did it take you to do all that?
To do the book?
Yeah, the entire thing.
Yeah. So it probably took a week to write all the lyrics the previous year for the book, but it took me 3 months straight to make the book.
Now, did you start that by hand first and then print, or was all that done through computer, like as far as the drawings?
There are about 13 drawings that were done by hand in the video. The rest of the drawings were done digitally, but I use a drawing tablet and a pressure-sensitive stylus, so it kind of mimics doing it by hand. I think that's why I was able to do the book, because every single page I would commit to my computer digitally, and then I would be able to number each page. I had them all in order. I had like 60 pages out of order, and then I ordered it, and by the time I was done, I had 100 pages. And then you have extra pages like copyright and stuff that completed the book.
Okay.
I have forever though, and like I've been trying to make a book since 2016, and every single year I've had this resolution, and I never completed it, you know. So.
But it looks like you're so close. You're just 0.002 millimeters away. You know, you're
it's
close.
Too close.
You're so close. You're so close. You couldn't be any closer than that. I would love to know what software, or you said you use a digital tablet. Is there a specific software that you like to use that works well with you, or for a newbie or anybody like that that's ever wanted to dabble in digital art like that?
Yeah, I could save you guys a lot of time because I've tried out like all I've tried out like all art programs. I've thrown all of my Google Points money at them so that I didn't have
Yeah.
to pay, and some of them were good. Autodesk Sketchbook is a free program. You can download it on your computer. You can download the app on your phone. I used it on my phone for 3 years with an Android stylus and did
Oh,
most of my
wow.
drawings on there until I decided that it would be much easier to use like bigger tools.
Okay.
But yeah, Autodesk Sketchbook is the art program that I would recommend. The 3D animation program I use is called Blender, which is also free. There have been movies and video games made with Blender, like
Oh,
Hardcore Henry.
wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, right?
I feel like we're getting some real legit, like, I'm sorry, I'm going to curse here, real legit shit here, guys. Like, we're getting some real hardcore graphic design knowledge and know-how. Because, again, 2 free programs for people to, like, dick around with and play with. And then, oh, my gosh, you can make video games, too? And you said Blender was
Yeah,
the 3D version?
you're too advanced for me because I just know the basic stuff, honestly. I just know basics of basics, like the bare minimum. This is like very advanced. Like this is so cool.
I can't do a lot for a video game. I could sculpt the whole world. I can make the camera move. I can make things change different colors. I can create goals, but I cannot make a character move yet. So I'm working on
Ah, okay. Is it like The
Next, but next
Sims?
time. Ooh, is it?
sorry.
Is it like what are you saying is moving the characters around would be close to like the Sims video game?
Yeah, I think that's what you need to be able to insert yourself into a video game properly. Like just the mechanics of like I don't know the mechanics yet. So this is my gray area. I can't really talk about this because I don't know.
Okay,
Well,
but for
my mind's
everything
blown
else
though.
though, yeah, I was gonna ask because I know that takes a long time to create a video game for sure. How much hours of coding does that take to do all that? Because that is crazy. Like what you're saying is it's very interesting.
Um, I'm not sure. I do it for fun, so it could take like 8 hours just to learn what I'm supposed to do and then try to figure out how to do it realistically. But also like even when you're sculpting a world afterwards, you got to go in and tell the computer what the 3D map looks like. And
Okay.
it you also have to do some like topography, like which areas are furthest from the camera and closer. Like it's automatically going to pick that up, but it'll look so much better if you code it. And it takes like 4 hours to render 3 minutes of
Wow.
information. So there's like if I have like an hour, it's going to take like days on my computer.
Mm, okay. Now, is your computer like a basic computer or advanced computer? I mean, if you don't mind me asking, I know it's probably like a dumb question to ask, but just out of curiosity, because I know sometimes certain programs need a certain amount of memory or a certain amount of power in order for you to perform these things, no?
It's just this little laptop. It's a notebook laptop. It's just
Okay.
this little guy right here. He's called an Elite Book. He's not very good at anything, but he's gotten me pretty far.
I'd say
Wow.
you got to do very
The
far.
program closes down all the time because I overload it with things, but it's besides that, it's never caused me any problems.
You know what's funny? When I first started doing the podcasting, the very first time I used a Chromebook. That's how I actually started this whole thing. I would use a Chromebook, an aux wire, and then my phone because back then you couldn't save the lives, so I had to play it over again within 24 hours and actually like use it as if it was a microphone and let it record onto the Chromebook. Now the Chromebook doesn't have it has a headphone jack, but it doesn't have the microphone, so I had to get a USB that
Yeah,
had both in order for me to do it like that back in the day. And then later on, I used a Dell desktop, and then now I'm using like a very advanced computer. Oh my God, like a advanced computer using OBS and all this extra stuff. But I just recently learned about OBS and stuff
yeah,
like that.
me
But it's
too.
pretty interesting how. But it's interesting how I look back now, like, wait, this all started from a Chromebook. Like, this is what I used to do. I used to use this cheap Chromebooks, like $60 Chromebook, and I was able to make things work, which is interesting. So, I mean, sometimes that's how people start. I don't know if people know this, but Daft Punk, the band, or the band music people, I don't know what you want to call them, but
For a duo.
they're yeah, so their I don't know if it's their second or third album. They did it on an iPad, that whole album.
Yeah. I did my first, I know I used that as a reference when I did my first album on the phone. I downloaded a
Mm.
little music program to help me place all of my audios and mix them and produce them, and I created the Electric Gradient album. I had plugged in my guitar into the phone using a phone app.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely believe that. That's awesome. You know what's crazy too? Because my brother, he used to rap back in the days, so he couldn't get a studio. So he used to use this program called Fruity Loops,
Oh
and it's
yeah.
like this music pro. Yeah, and
I
he would
used to
make these beats, and that's how he used to
use
make his
Fruity
music.
Loops.
Him and his band. Yo, Fruity Loops been around for, oh God, I'm gonna say since I was in junior high school. I think like that's how old that program
Oh
is.
shit.
I think some people still use that.
I don't use it, but I used it when I was in high school when I was trying to do the music that I can't that I do now that I couldn't do then.
Hmm.
Let me just also
Word.
say that if you want to publish a book, you could do it on Amazon Kindle, which is also free. And if you want to make
Okay.
music, you can get the free program Cakewalk by Sonar, BandLab. It's all the same thing, but that's also free. So like I don't pay for anything, any of this at least.
Yeah, no, like everything I do, I don't really pay for. So that's why if you see like a re-uploaded video, you'll see like a little logo watermark thing or something. But I'm like, hey, listen, it is what it is. I refuse to pay for anything if I don't need to. Like, I'm the same way.
It's
Um, yeah,
it's cool that you did that you learned OBS because I just had to wrap my head around that as well, and I don't have a good enough computer for that, or else I would be going live on like Twitch or something. But I want some
right.
the audio, so
No,
even this
so with
you guys using
OBS,
the
even
OBS
if
is helpful though. So
right, like when I used to do when I did, okay, so the first three episodes of season four, I didn't have my current computer at first. I had my Dell desktop, which was like the bare minimum thing. So with OBS, it won't let you do video on a computer like that, but you could do audio, if that makes
oh,
sense.
okay,
Yeah, you can
I
only
didn't
do
know that.
audio. So even because you could try to do the video, but then it's gonna slow your computer down because there's not enough power. But the audio is never an issue because that's what I did. The first three episodes was OBS on my old desktop, and I was only able to do audio on
Okay,
that.
that's helpful. I could just go on with audio until I could fake it until I make it.
Yeah. Hey, if you want after this, sometime next week, if you like, I could show you some things as well. Because I ended up showing another poet. She wants to do a podcast, so I was showing her what I used to do. I mean, what I have done, different methods I used to do these podcast things. So I could definitely do something with you as well,
That would be very
to teach you some things. Yeah, absolutely.
helpful.
For those who's just joining us, quick, this is part one and part one. This is the first hour of this live, which is interview with Electric Armchair from April, not born in April, but live on the last week of April. And of course, later on at 10 o'clock would be the actual open mic slash poetry. But for those who just joining us right now, welcome. Thank you for coming in. And if you guys have any questions you want to ask or anything like that, you're more than welcome to ask questions and stuff like that. And we could definitely read them out loud. Yeah, so Angela, what's up?
Well, I'm just taken aback by all of this amazing tech talk because I've always been interested in how people are doing these great graphic animations, and I might be checking out some of these free tips that April just gave us. But April,
Word.
your sheer volume of work, like how many you mentioned last time when you were on our open mic, how many songs that you say that you write in a year?
So last year I wrote 240 songs, but since 2016 I've been writing 100 songs a year on average. I don't know how that happens. I think it just evolves from the fact that I used to do daily poetry, and now instead of writing a poem a day, I'll write verses of a song. So I'll get a song done every other day.
Wow.
And yeah,
How
it's
do you
usually
write
just,
them?
how do I
Like
write
what's
them?
like what's your process? Do you hear the are you hearing kind of the beats in your head first, or is the lyrics kind of what drives it? What drives it?
I get all of that. Sometimes like you could have one of those shower thoughts where you get a line that repeats in your head, and I'll try to Google it to make sure that it doesn't exist. Paul McCartney does that. He'll wake up, he'll write a song, and he'll be like, "Oh no, I just ripped off someone's song." I've heard that before, so you have to make sure. But also like sometimes I will just get a beat, like you just get a little drum beat and you want to like put some words to it, or it's like you hear a Nine Inch Nails song and you kind of want to rip it off. But you don't rip it off, you kind of take the essence out of it. You write down what the song means to you and then construct a new song. Or it's like, I want to write a story and I have no time for that, so I'm going to make the story into a song. So there's all these different.
Mm. Got you, got you. It's interesting too, though, because I was watching this interview with Dave Grohl and Pharrell, and then Pharrell was like praising Dave Grohl, like, oh, he's such a good drummer, and Dave Grohl's like, oh, stop calling me a good drummer, dude. I rip off Gap bands. That's how he learned. If you hear Nirvana's "Smells Like Teen Spirit," that like if you really listen to it, it's very close to a Gap band how they play music, and I'm just like I'm watching this interview and I'm like, that just blew my mind. I'm like, really, bro? Like, really, this whole time? Like, it's pretty interesting. Like you said, like you don't rip it up, but rather you take from it to make your own thing. So I think that's pretty cool. And you were saying that that's what it reminded me of that interview I was watching.
Well, what reminded you of that reminded me of, you know, hopefully you guys know the band Gorillaz. Their main
Oh my God.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Love
of
so
them.
course.
their main song Clint Eastwood. They asked Damon Albarn, "How did you write Clint Eastwood?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't. My piano comes with it." So he put on the demo song, and then he started to sing along.
Oh my God, that's wow. I'm telling you, mind blown. Wow. It's interesting how some like when you get behind the music of things and then you realize, oh wow, it's like that. Like it's so cool. I love backstories and stuff like that. Yeah,
Got another
wow.
got another cool backstory that you could share with our fans out there?
I have another
Word.
song. You guys want another song?
Oh,
Yes, yes, of
yes.
course.
Yeah, please. For those who's just joining us, again, thank you guys for coming through as we're having our interview for the first hour with Electric Armchair, April, Not Born in April.
Mhm.
And yeah, so she's gonna perform another piece right now. So again, guys, thank you for joining and thank you for being with us, April. This is so cool. Like I'm just flabbergasted by everything. It's amazing.
Thank
What about you,
you as well.
Angela?
Of course.
So this song's called Faraway Plains. I had the instrumentals outside. I was sitting on the porch, and there were so many airplanes going by, like probably about 3 and 5 minutes, that I couldn't hear anything. So the song's basically just me complaining about that.
Oh my gosh. Good. I'm glad you explained it because I didn't want to put the wrong plane in the chat.
There's a bit of an intro. Listen, can you hear the planes? Too far, but not too far away. Like stars I tried to count them. Too many had gone and came. So that's why we got all this rain. One seems no morning every day. I've become a vampire inside a cave. Watching artificial wings fly through heat waves. Visions of the dead membrane. Got humans got to break the chain. When it rains and it pours, then it's hot and it storms 50 degrees Celsius on a good day. Hey, Mother Nature has lost her stature. Some may come, but the storm hits later. This is the way the world's cast. We live each day like it's our last. We're the main hoe, yet we look around, so throw shade at the fool as we call him a foe. There's There's a little rope by the light seen in the sky. You can hear the planes far away flying each night. When the road through the storms, through the rain and the clouds, gotta turn us up when the planes fly so loud. So who are we to place blame? I'm the fool now, sitting here watching artificial wings from the ground. You can beat my track with the sound of a nearby plane as it breaks the bounds. Think too hard about it, run around in a circle till you drive it to the ground. What now? It's astonishing how we use things, but the way it's done is hard to change. Those artificial wings in the sky remain. This is where I get to breathe. If I had equipment set up, I would be able to do this with the mic because there would be reverb and delay.
Okay. That's
I like the grit,
awesome,
though.
though.
I like the grit. I like it.
Can you hear
I
but not too far away, like stars I tried to count them, too many had gone and came, so that's why we got all this flame. One seems no more except every day I've become a vampire inside a cave, watching artificial wings fly through heat waves, visions of the dead membrane, got human house to break the chain, when it rains and it pours and it's hot and it's 100 degrees Celsius on a good day. Hey, Mother Nature has lost her stature, some may come, but storm it's later, this is the way the world goes, we live each day like it's all last. We're the main hole, you ever look around, so throw shade at the pool as I call on my foe. There's a little rope, blood fight, seeing in the sky. I can hear the planes far away flying each night. When the road through the storm, through the rain and the clouds, gotta turn us up when the planes fly so loud. So who are we to place blame? I'm the fool now, sitting here watching artificial wings from the ground. To beat the track with the sound of a nearby plane as it breaks the bound. Think too hard about it, run around in a circle till you drive it to the ground. What now? Astonishing how we use things, but the way it's done is hard to change. Those artificial wings and scare me. It has this weird ending, just kind of trails off.
Wow.
Oh my God, it was really popping through right for me, right at that last frame there. Oh my gosh.
That I felt some kind of tribal vibe to it. It's really cool. It's like, oh my God, I don't know what that kind of music is called, but I saw, like, if I could just imagine, I see somebody dancing to this, like, oh my God, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a type of music that people dance to. It's like, I don't want to say belly dancing, but it's more like a, oh man, you know what? I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I did get some kind of tribal-ish, dancey vibe to it. It's pretty awesome. That's how that spoke to me. I don't know. That's just how I got from it, but I love it. I love it.
I get the word sometimes like tribal, or some people will be like, it sounds native, and they'll send me like the native dances or Middle East.
There we go.
I
Yes.
live in Canada, around Toronto. We are very like multicultural, so I don't know if that comes out in the music. Just for the lyrics there, I just kind of sing like the 3 verses in the chorus, and then for the second half of the song, I sing the same thing twice. So it's.
Someone said Oriental ?
I get that as well. I use those black keys on the piano. I think it's the chords. I use a lot of minor notes. There's some, I don't know if you guys know lingo. There's dissonance notes.
Okay.
It depends on what scale you're using. Most of the time, you guys would hear like the chromatic or the pentatonic scale, like happy music, and then you have minor scales.
Major. I know the major and minor.
Yeah, and there's
I played
like
viola for a while.
There's all these other scales, and I do tend to use like what I would find the cooler scales.
Yeah, so like those kind of minoring, all that stuff, you know. I also really felt kind of that anxiety that you were expressing as you were talking about the origin of the piece, how it was just, oh my God, all these planes are flying by. I've definitely got that, like, you know, like that, like anxiety reading, like, what's going on, you know, kind of a sense there.
Okay. That's what I thought about. Shakira back in the day. I mean, it's more Spanish, but like before she started doing, like she always did rock, but she has a song in Spanish. I don't know how to say it, but in English it means eyes like these. That's what it's called. But in Spanish, and it has a similar beat of that. You know what? When we finish this live thing, I'm gonna send it to you so you can see what I'm talking about. But that's what I thought of just now. As you, yeah.
Earlier in the year, there was this little trumpet beat that I had stuck in my head, and my husband and I were trying like for hours to figure out what song it was from, and I thought it was from some hip hop song, and then my husband goes like, it's from a pop song, and there's only one pop song I listen to. I'm like, it's Shakira. We put on the song, dun 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 dun. It's the whole
Yeah,
song. So,
yeah.
so there is some
Wow.
inspiration there.
That's awesome. I love it. You just take different. That's why I like your genre of music in a way because you could take so many elements and turn it into your own, and it fits. Because you can't do that with every type of music, but with your type of music, you could actually do that, which I think is so admiring about your genre of music. What genre do you consider yourself overall? Like, if you could pick one category, what would you
It's
consider yourself?
indescribable, Andy, because remember she mentioned shoegaze, but she talked about her being almost like a grungy, almost Queens of the Stone Age inspiration. So I don't know. Are you indistinct? Are you your own wave?
Uh, I'd like to be, but I think it's always something in psychedelic. I usually, with Spotify, like when you do podcasts, you know that you have to like go through and do a distribution thing,
Hmm.
probably.
Right.
I have to go through that and I have to categorize my music somehow. So I usually just put it under electronic down tempo, which is probably not
Mm.
the genre, but that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years.
I can see
And
a little
also,
bit of a connection
there's
there.
also singer-songwriter. That is a legitimate category. But some of my
Mm-hmm.
stuff doesn't have lyrics, so then it gets a little complicated.
Okay.
I do like what you said, like I have a winter album, and the whole album is comprised of let's take Joey Jordison's let's take the drums from Slipknot and pair them with the voice from Radiohead with the guitar from I don't know, let's say Weezer or Led Zeppelin and see what we get. And so that whole album was comprised of just taking things from
Mm.
different people. And it really helps you to be able to learn different techniques as well.
I do see Led Zeppelin in that. Dancing Days, for example. Like, I can see that. I can see that too.
Or Beach Boys, that's
Yeah.
total opposite, but that's pretty experimental still.
The traditional opposite mashup, like that kind of a mashup. Yeah, what if I take this, and this, and just put it all together, and it's pretty freaking fantastic. We're about to end the first album, and
Album.
like I said, I just said album. This is like April's. How many albums again have you had already constructed and put out there?
I have 7 out there, and I am almost finished my 8th album, but I have like also 12 completed albums. They're just not out yet. So yeah, you can
Oh, wow.
7
Okay.
albums out on all platforms. And then there's probably hundreds of other songs not in albums on YouTube.
Mm.
And
Okay.
if
Okay.
you wanted
Awesome.
my first songs, you'd have to like go searching on Tumblr or something from like the old
Ooh,
Tumblr days.
Damn, you
a
said
blast from the
Tumblr.
past.
What? Do people still go on that?
I don't know. I can't because whenever I do, it says, "Oh, you don't have a good Wi-Fi connection. Try again later." So I use Instagram.
Oh my God. Like I feel like going to Tumblr is like trying to go to MySpace. I looked at it recently and it was just like, okay, it's like Dailymotion and Yahoo had a baby. Like, it's very bad.
Yeah, I don't
Oh my
recognize it anymore.
God.
They have chat rooms and stuff there now. It's weird. They have like
Yeah, it is.
something. I don't know.
Speaking of chat rooms and stuff and weird, we are going to be switching drivers right now because we're going to start heading over to the open mic. April, please stay on because we would love to have you come on again. Stay with us and have if you would like to hang out as like part of it. Andy's gonna be driving the car, and we'd love to hear another piece if you have one coming in during the next hour if you got one.
Yes.
I know we
And
have some Android
so
people
yeah.
who are
So before
yeah.
okay, so before we switch drivers in the car, do you have any last thoughts?
He's talking to you, April.
Oh, I was trying to think. I just thought, thank you. Like, thanks for having me.
Well,
Absolutely.
I
No,
hopefully
it was
your
an honor
thoughts
and
are still
privilege.
continuing us, but I know that we're concluding on that, the highlighting, the spotlighting, the interrogation of April.